Hello, YouTube. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. So today we're just continuing this. Let's start over. Good afternoon. Today we're continuing the discussion on integrity. If you received the email from me a couple of hours ago, integrity is physical. And we talked about this last week. Integrity is a physical practice. Much like structural integrity, it begins in your sit bones, right? Your foundation, just like a building. You can't be in your integrity unless you're strong in your foundation, grounded in your feet. If you're standing, grounded in your sit bones if you're sitting. That's why form is the first piece of this. And then it's a strong spine. For me, I tend to hunch over, so it means a slight arch on my back. If you tend to hyperpronate, you might want to tuck in a little more. And then breathe. The spaciousness of a home is what allows us to live in it, yeah? The spaciousness within yourself is what allows you to live within yourself. Now, that spaciousness is first in the body via the breath. And as you train yourself to be still and quiet, that spaciousness goes into your mind. But you don't have to force that. It comes with time, right? It happens naturally. As you practice, you get space from your thinking, right? And as you get space from your thinking, you can begin to question your thinking. You begin to see beyond what you already think, right? Knowledge is all of the past, right? Everything I know is something I learned prior. This moment, this reality is itself unknown. And to come into living that not knowing is a daily practice. And that brings us right to the reading for this week. The reading is in the description below. Please ask me any questions. I am not a god or a guru. Nothing I say is right. Nothing I say is wrong. Nothing this book I say is right, or it says is right or wrong. The real work is to trust yourself and also to be able to hear whatever else is out there while still maintaining yourself, right? That's integrity, right? So check these things out for yourself. That's the, experiment with this, inquire. But last week we talked about the first two stanzas of chapter 64. If you want to get the readings before class and have a chance to look them over, just sign up for my mailing list. Right now they're going out a few hours before I go live, just because my schedule the past few weeks has been bonkers. But in a couple of weeks, when things start to calm down, I'm going to send the emails out on Monday, hopefully Monday morning, so people will have a full 24 hours to really look at the readings and think of any questions that they have. So you're welcome to put your questions. If you're live with me now, as long as you're a subscriber, you can ask your questions in the comments live. And I love that. Challenge me, question me. I will try to answer as best as I can. But as I said before, these are my insights at this time. I'm not an authority. Use them if they're useful, challenge them. But check things out for yourself. The whole point of this is to be in your integrity, not mine, right? So, and if you're watching this on the replay, put your questions in the comments. I'm new to this, and I'm so excited. I got my first comment last week, and I was so excited to get it and so honored. So if you do comment after, I am so happy to answer the questions. At some point, maybe I'll blow up and I won't be able to answer them as much. But even then, I hope I can. I'd love to, because I love that interaction and how we expand when we really have those conversations. It expands me, right? So it's a little selfish. So anyway, scrolling down, last week we looked at the first two stanzas of this chapter. So what I said, scrolling down, like if you scroll down into the description, you can read, it's at the very bottom of the description. And this is quite beautiful. Integrity is not only the fulfillment of our own being, it is also the quality through which all beings are fulfilled. When we fulfill our own being, we become truly human. What does that mean to be truly human? Right? What is it to be truly human? In the first stanza, he says, integrity is our true nature. Right? We are naturally always in our integrity. Right? It's our true nature that we return to whenever we return to our body. Right? To the lower belly breath that I'm always talking to, right down here. When you live from your groundedness, from your integrity, from your presence, your gravitas, which is a skill that you build through sitting, right? That's the practice that we do every Thursday in the live Zoom class. You begin to see that your true nature, exactly as you are, is your integrity, right? And as you begin to actually see yourself and love yourself, because that's love, right? To see yourself, to meet yourself as you are, not as someone or yourself even thinks you should be, but to meet yourself as you are, you begin to see your own integrity as you are, and then you naturally begin to see everyone else's. Like, oh, it makes sense. I get it. I might not like it. I might not even at this point like myself. But as you practice, you begin to see I'm always in my true nature, and that is my integrity. And if I'm off of my integrity, if something's not right, my body will quickly tell me. And it's not even that I was out of integrity. It's just like a GPS rerouting, right? Like you're still on the road. If you made a wrong turn, you're just not going in the destination that you originally wanted to, but you haven't like left planet Earth. You're still on the Earth. You're still in your car or walking if you're using GPS that way. You're just off the track of where you think you want to go at this point, and it will reroute you to your destination, to its best of ability. That's all this body is telling us. Like, ooh, something feels wrong. Something feels right. I got to step back. I got to step in. Okay. It's movement. And then that goes to that next line that we talked about. Arriving at integrity is the work of a lifetime because it's constant. Right? I would rewrite it. Arriving at integrity is the living of a lifetime. It's the constant living of life. Integrity in this moment, and this moment, and this moment. Continually returning to this moment, which is always just a breath away. And that's why ultimately it's the practice. This teaching is secondary. It's the practice, which we do together on Thursdays on Zoom. Again, the link you can get on my website. I have how to find that in the description below. But it's the practice that enables you to see and be in your own integrity more and more. And this is especially important when you feel frustrated or angry, especially when you feel frustrated and angry with yourself. To begin to be with yourself as you are. Like, oh, that anger is my integrity. I've just got to be with it, but be curious about it. That's that not knowing. And this is why it's that arriving in this moment with presence and curiosity is the continual work of a lifetime. Because that's how I want to live my whole life, in presence and curiosity. So when he says it's the work of a lifetime, it's not something that you have to toil at and then maybe arrive at some time when you're like 90, if you get that far. It's now. And now. We are constantly arriving in the here and now. Then he says, the person who has integrity does the right thing without trying to. Now, this goes back to our class on trust. What is right and what is wrong? Actually, I think I should do an entire class on right and wrong. Maybe I'll do that next week or the week after, depending on how far through integrity we get this week. So the person who has integrity does the right thing without trying to. Right, as we've all known, it changes consistently, right? Right now this is right, then it is wrong, then it is wrong, then it is right. No, the right thing is right now. And my head can't know that, my heart, but my body does. Right? But when you're truly embodied, when you're truly living from your low belly breath, right? When you're truly embodied down here, you don't have to try to do the right thing, just like a dancer doesn't have to try to do a pirouette. right? It just comes out. You've practiced so much of being in your body that it just arises automatically without effort, right? So when you are in your physical integrity, you've practiced staying grounded and open, but strong in yourself, not knowing, but anchored, not knowing, but present, not often a story of the past or the future. When you're in that integrity, the right thing does itself constantly. And that's a skill. It's a practice, just like guitar or dance or anything else. The more you practice it, you do it without trying. Understands the truth without thinking. The truth is just here and now. I don't know what it is, but I can live it. And naturally embodies the Tao, it says, life, the whole. Okay, we went all over that. So this integrity, when I'm fully in myself, when I'm grounded in my being, anchored in my gravitas, in the not knowing, that is the fulfillment of my being. And this is always about you in the most beautiful sense of it, right? It is also the quality through which all other beings are fulfilled. And this is a great exploration. I really love to explore this. How is it that when I'm in my integrity, I then fulfill everyone else? Well, I was actually just looking at this book. Hold on. So this summer, I read for the second time, but this was like the real reading of it for me. I read this fantastic biology book. It's written by Lewis Thomas in the 70s, and it's called The Lives of a Cell, and I highly recommend it. It is a dense biology textbook. Well, no, he's a writer, so it's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful book. It's not a textbook, it's a book. It's a book. Sorry, I lied. But it's this beautiful book where he goes into, he's essentially circuitously making the point that we are a system, right? And he's a professor. He was the dean of Yale Medical School and NYU Medical School. He was the chairman of Sloan Kettering, like the top of the top in the medical field and in the fields of science and biology, right? Like he had a good sense of what's going on from a scientific standpoint. And he makes this beautiful case in this book that we are the whole, right? And he uses often insects or animals as the pointer to this. So I forget what you call insect science. It's not etymology. It's very similar to that. That's the study of words, etymology, right? But the ant isn't the organism. The bee isn't the organism. The hive is. The anthill is. The anthill is the organism. And each ant or each bee is one, like you would say, like one finger, one aspect of the whole organism. And, if you read through the lines, he's kind of saying as humanity, the humanity as the whole is the organism. And this is from a very scientific perspective. A man who's done so much research and work on this, right? And it's beautiful because then, if you think about the ant who all of a sudden is drawn to and a line of ants drawn to walk in this direction, almost like an arm reaching out to grab a piece of food and bring it back to the hive, right? That, you're working as part of this colony. If each ant does what its instincts, its true instincts, tell it to do or guide it to do, it is serving the whole of the hive, right? And they do it without effort. They do it without trying. And what's so cool to me is, a guy in the 70s, a scientist, is saying the same thing that, a hermit in China 2,500 years ago is saying, right? Integrity is not only the fulfillment of our own building, of our own being. It is the quality through which all beings are fulfilled. It's like if my liver cell is a liver cell, it's going to fulfill my whole thing. If it tries to be a stomach cell or something else, well, then I got a problem, right? Be exactly who you are. That is your integrity. And I don't know who I'm supposed to be, and I absolutely do not know who you're supposed to be. And this goes back to like trust and always trusting only yourself, right? And this is the practice. This is the practice we do when we sit, because without knowing it, when you just sit there and you breathe with your body as it is, you're practicing self-trust, self-love. You're going to sit with yourself. Have you ever been really upset, feeling overwhelmed or down, and someone just sits with you as you are? They hug you as you are. They're not trying to like make you stop crying or make you like, they're just exactly as you are. I got you. Right? How good does that feel, right? Make you feel seen and heard and loved and accepted. And then the emotions can do what they need to do. And then you truly do heal, right? Well, that's what you're doing with yourself. And as you do it when you sit, right? And, you know, you're doing it with the whole that we are, right? So when you practice being in yourself and in the unknown, there's this saying in Buddhism, right action arises by itself. It's also said in Taoism, right? It's actually in chapter 48 of the Tao Te Ching. You know, he says, less and less do you need to force things until finally, right? Less and less do you need to force things until finally you arrive at non-action. When nothing is done, there's no mental doing. Everything is coming from here. Nothing is left undone. Yeah. So this is integrity. Like when you're really in your body, right? And it might show up as I'm getting in a fight with this person, or I'm feeling reclusive or sad. What if you didn't fight it? What if you didn't fight yourself? Didn't fight the sorrow? Didn't fight the anger? Didn't fight the joy? What if you were with it like that person says, exactly as you are, right? And see where your body leads you. Well, you're fulfilling yourself and you're fulfilling the whole. And this is why not knowing is so key, because we don't know what this whole is. We can't see it. Like the bee can't see the whole of the hive, right? This is a whole Earth that we're on, in a whole solar system, in a whole universe, in a whole galaxy, in a whole universe, in a whole multiverse. I don't know anything. I don't know what this is for, what this is about. It's not even that I don't know who I am. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. But I know that when I'm in my integrity, which isn't some external moral or value code, it's deep in my body, I do the right thing. I am actually more loving and connected. People often fear, well, if we don't have this outside moral code, people will do bad things. I do bad things when I'm stuck in my fear or desire, when I'm stuck in my ideas of what things should be or how they shouldn't be. That's when I do evil. When I try to preach to someone else, when I try to correct someone else, that's me being evil. I don't know. That's my mind or my heart trying to control things as a sense of false safety. But when I'm anchored in my lower belly, in my integrity, in my foundation, and my spine, my scaffolding, breathing from my lower belly, we really practiced this in last week's Thursday practice class, like that lower belly breath. And we're going to go into that more this week and really sit with it. I walked us down into the belly breath last week, and I recorded it, and I will eventually get it on YouTube so you guys can watch that and have the technique of how to get down there. This week, we're going to practice just staying there. That's your integrity. It's physical. And when you're in it, you move from there, you fulfill yourself and the whole, right? When we fulfill our own being, the next line, we become truly human. Now, this is a translation of Chinese, right? And I love Stephen Mitchell because of all the translators of Taoist texts, he actually has a practice. So he's not just translating the language or the theory. He was a Zen monk for 14 years. He sat in monastic discipline in the quiet and the silence in his body. So he writes and he translates from a depth of experience. And he's also a Renaissance guy, a wordsmith. Like, he's quite beautiful with his writing. But I'll challenge him here. His translation of "we become truly human." I would say we realize our true humanity, because we already are truly human. No matter what, we all are. In our grossness, in our malice, in our anger, in our greed, that's humanity. Also in our love and our kindness, right? It's all humanity, right? I would translate "we become truly human" to "we realize our true humanness at all times." When you're in your integrity, you see your real humanness, and you love it, and you see others as well. And then this is the foundation of real compassion, real presence, right? That's the good stuff. It's juicy, right? Humaneness. Oh, I skipped ahead. Sorry. And when we fulfill all beings, we arrive at true understanding, which, spoiler alert, true understanding is that I don't know anything. I understand that this is unknown. I understand that this whole thing is nothing but me in this moment. Right. And what's really cool about this, I don't know if you guys know Donald Hoffman. He's a really cool, I think it's a neuroscientist. I don't know. He did a lot with AI too, and like this and all this. He has a real TED talk, like not one of those TEDx fake TED talks, but he did one of the real TED talks. You can find it. Donald Hoffman on his YouTube. His TED talk on YouTube. I speak English sometimes, I swear. He gives this beautiful talk about how we cannot see reality as it is. We just can't. We don't have the equipment to see it, right? And and like, so that not knowing is so vast. And yet, as you sit, I can't explain it, but when you really sit for long periods of time, for me especially, when I do a week or 2 weeks in silence up in 100 acres somewhere, you feel it. I can't understand it, but you feel this deep connection to the whole. And you really get, like, with these masters, what they alluded to this no separation, which is what modern physics also points to, right? There's no separation. There's no gain. There's no loss. You can't, right? We are at time. Okay. So let's finish this up. So that's true understanding. Humaneness, our humanness, and understanding of the humaneness of ourselves and every other thing, human creature, as sometimes we might think that this is evil or wrong, or no, we begin to see the real beauty in every human, and understand humaneness and understanding are inherent in our true nature. When you come into your true nature, your gravitas, your presence, your breath, your body, your sit bones, right? You see how inherently human and beautiful you are, and everyone else exactly as they are. And this is not airy-fairy. This is, you feel it. Like when you bite into a mango, you can taste it. I could talk about a mango and what it tastes like for years to someone who's never tasted fruit. And they could maybe see that they intellectually understand it, but there's no way to communicate this with words. You got to take a bite of the mango to get any idea of what that sweet and juicy and all of that is, right? If I told you what a mango tastes like, and then I give you a deliciously ripe peach, I'm like, oh, this is clearly a mango. I could even give you a tangerine that's a little sour. I'm like, oh, it's clearly a mango. No, not even close. It's an experience. You can't talk about it. Humaneness and understanding are inherent in our true nature, and by means of them, We unite. That's that connection. We unite the inner, our inner self, and the outer, the whole. Thus, when we act with integrity, everything we do is right. I love this. Next week, we'll finish the integrity by looking at Stephen Mitchell's commentary, and I'll send that out in a reading hopefully Monday, but probably Tuesday morning the way this week is coming along. We'll see what happens. And if you want that, just sign up for my mailing list. If you want to practice integrity, because all this talking, it's like talking about doing push-ups until you get on the floor and do them, it doesn't matter. So if you want to practice integrity, I think probably if you're on this, you already have the link to the Zoom, but if you don't, the sign up is in the description below, like how to get the Zoom link and join us and sit with us. About 10 people have been showing up. I even stopped like telling people about it for like a long time because I had other things going on. I stopped writing. And like a good solid 10 people show up every week to that class. And when I remember to send a mailing out and a reminder, we get even more. And I'm sure now that as we get out there, there'll be even more people that hopefully come and join us, because the more of us who sit in silence together, there's a gravity to it. There's a weight to it that just helps you get more in your integrity, the more of us that sit together. So I hope you can join us Thursday, also at 11:40. Super grateful for you guys who showed up. And for anyone who watches later, I'm so grateful. Send me your comments, your thoughts, your questions. And I'm sitting with you. I'm grateful for you guys. Love you all very much. Have a great week.